I want to bring in NBC 10 legal analyst Enrique L1 Latoison. And we just heard, Enrique, we just heard Bruce Castor when Rosemary spoke with him saying he wasn't surprised. What's your take on this? Do you think it was pretty unusual that they made the decision and then he walked right out of prison?
Well, we kind of got a little window into this when the Supreme Court picked up two issues. The one issue being whether or not Mr. Cosby unofficially relied on that and gave up his Fifth Amendment right, which we talked about today, and this is the thing that got overturned. And the second issue was whether or not this many people that were able to testify in the second case, which was 5 additional victims, whether or not that was allowed. The Supreme Court never got to that issue. They only talked about issue number 1. So it is unusual when the Supreme Court eventually overturns a case. When the trial court ruled in one way, the Superior Court went along with the trial court, and then when it got to state Supreme Court, they said, no, this is wrong, we're overturning this. So, you know, it really came down to whether or not somebody can rely on a prosecution's comments and things that they were saying to then give up your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. And the court was very disturbed by this and decided that this is not allowed, and they therefore overturned this case.
Yeah, and Enrique, you and I have been at that Montgomery County courthouse for what? The first trial when it was a hung jury, the second trial when he was convicted, and then for sentencing. You've been with us for a lot of the commentary and insight into this. So you bring up the issue of these other women who testified in the second trial. First trial, just one other woman. Second trial, the prosecution was allowed to have 5 women testify about their experiences and encounters with Cosby. So we know in this case, the charges against Bill Cosby as it relates to Andrea Constand, they're done. What about the other women? I mean, I suppose if there's a claim out there that still was within the statute of limitations, that could move forward. Talk to us about it.
So you know, because you and I were on those trials both of those times talking about this case, and I will say that anybody that still has a legal right to go after Cosby can still do that. This was a narrow issue. This only came down to Ms. Constand's case. Could you prosecute Bill Cosby for Ms. Constand's case? The court said no, you cannot, because he relied on what was told to him in reference to this case. He gave up his right to remain silent, and he went and he testified in a civil case that was then used against him in the trial. However, everyone else still has their rights, and any other person that wants to be able to prosecute him can still do so.
Enrique, as always, we're so glad you're with us. Thanks for your perspective on all of this. We appreciate you.
Thank you.